nerds, I'm so excited to show you what is right here. Now, we just got back from seeing the new Thanksgiving movie that Eli Roth released. Eli Roth is known for like Hostel, The Green Inferno, and Glorious Bastards, Cabin Fever. So without a doubt, I already knew this was going to be a really good movie. So apparently this Thanksgiving movie has been in the works for years. I didn't know this, but if you go back and watch Grindhouse, like in the trailer, apparently they showed like a little scene or like a little tidbit of something that was like, that it was of something that could become something. I don't know, but anyways, so it was really nice that at the ending of the credits that they included Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino like in his thing. So when I heard about this movie, I didn't even know it was coming. I saw a trailer and I was like, right out the gate, I was like, oh, this could be really stupid, right? But what really drew me in was because they brought Rick Hoffman. So if you don't know who Rick Hoffman is, he is the guy in Hostel 2, where he was the guy who was getting all crazy and he was like new to the game, where he got like that stupid bloodhound tattoo and he was like gonna go kill this person. And he was talking to the guy saying like, should I just fucking end it and just like, you know, shoot him in the head with a gun, or should I just enjoy it and just feel the kill, right? So he was in the movie, which was nice. Now, they showed two particular kills right out the gate, which drew me in. So the one was he took the girl's head and he put it into like water and then opened up the industrial freezer and then stuck her fucking head to the freezer, and then you watched her like basically peel her face away, so all of her fucking like face was coming off on the freezer. It was really disgusting. So kind of like when you stick your tongue out onto like a pole in the wintertime and then you pull some of your taste buds off, so kind of like that, right? So then that was really graphic. And then the one part which is really gross, which they did a close-up on the girl's ears, like, you know when you clean your ears with a Q-tip and like they warn you not to like shove it in or else you're gonna go fucking deaf and stuff, right? Well, it was really graphic. So they John Carver guy ended up jamming fucking like corn in the cob holders into her fucking ears. So right out the gate, that fucking, the movie, just the trailer alone sold it. So now going into the movie review, I overall thought the movie was pretty much, I want to say like an 8.5 out of 10. Now, when we break it down to the scale, I didn't know this, but apparently it was shot in my hometown. So I live in Hamilton, Ontario. So I'm from Canada. So pretty much the whole movie was shot in Canada. It was like Pickering, Ontario. There was parts of Dundas and Barton in Hamilton that was like shot there. And then some in Toronto. So it was really cool having it just like all in my hometown. I didn't understand the one day. So my friend was driving me home from work and I saw that on Upper Sherman in Mohawk, there used to be an old Walmart, and then they shut down, okay? So I didn't know why there were these big ass vehicles and like these big ass lights. I'm like, oh shit, that like they're shooting a movie, but we wanted to know what movie, right? And turns out the movie Thanksgiving was fucking like right there. I was so shocked and I was so upset because like I could have been an extra, because at the beginning of the movie, the way it was shot, they needed a lot of crazy people just to be like annoying and like raise their voices and start throwing some cuss words. I would have loved to do that, and had the A-listers there too. Like it was fucking insane. So so in the movie, how it opens up is that they're going over to Thanksgiving or whatever, and then this guy has to work and stuff like that, and it's called Right Mart. So they obviously couldn't put Walmart, but it's called Right Mart. So they had all these people going crazy for like the Black Friday deals. Now, I don't know about you Americans, I'm sorry to say this, but you guys are fucking crazy. So half of the shit is literally fake and make-believe, but it's literally almost the truth, because you guys have seen videos of you guys going crazy and stampeding people just for fucking TVs and punching people. So that's exactly what they were doing in the movies. So it was really cool. So how they opened up was a bunch of crazy people, throwing some cuss words around. The kids that they brought in, they got the VIP access to the store to get the good deal. So the kids were taunting the guy outside, and then they ended up creating a riot. So then the one guy, security guy, was a pussy, so he ran, and then they told the guy to lock up the doors. Poor guy didn't even know what he was doing. And so anyway, so they're banging on the door, right? And Patrick Dempsey, by the way, I never told you who the cast is. So Patrick Dempsey's in it, as well as Rick Hoffman. And they had that Addison Rae bitch. I'm sorry. I'm just putting it out there. This is where I'm going to lay it. I can't stand that fucking bitch. I'm sorry. So she was in the fucking movie, and I just honestly, I just wish she got hers. But anyways, so yeah, so she's in the fucking movie. The bitch can't act. They have a bunch of fucking millennials or Gen Z people, whatever you want to say. So that's basically what the cast is. It's just a bunch of kids. So as the kids were basically taunting people, they were all they broke through the one set of doors to the other set of doors. If that makes sense. So then the one guy, they were saying like, let him in, let him in. They're going to go fucking nuts. So as they were doing, they were banging on the fucking doors like a bunch of zombies. And then you saw that the glass broke. So as the glass broke, they threw the one security guy to the bottom. So the door went on top of him. You could imagine how many people were stampeding on top of that guy's body. So as he was pretty much dying, and you could see the blood come out of his mouth, and you saw all the glass like being pressed into him. So he was dying right there on the floor. So that was one death. So then as you see people punching each other for fucking TVs and waffle irons, okay? The one guy got slammed into the door like a random civilian. He slit his throat with the glass. So he was just gushing blood all over the place, but it was pretty comedic. Eli Roth's pretty funny. So he ended up grabbing the waffle maker as he was dying on the floor. That had me fucking floored. Like I was dying. And then the one lady stole the waffle iron from him and then like went to go check out like a bunch of crazy people that they were. And then the one guy, the one punk ass kid, he was live streaming it and videoing streaming because he wanted to go viral. And so they're watching this pure chaos and like all these deaths are pretty much just happening. And then the one death, what was really cool was when the one girl was pushed onto the floor and she was trying to get up, and then her head was on the ground, and then the two carts went ding right off of her fucking head to the point where you could hear it. It was brutal. It was graphic. So like anyway, so like they put blood all over the floor, and then as she was alive, like still alive, like whatever remnants of life she was, she had like a piece of her hair caught in stuck of the wheel. So they were peeling her scalp. So picture this is her scalp, and then the wheel was just peeling it, like her fucking skin. It was disgusting. So like she was just dying, and then Patrick Dempsey, he like shot a gun up in the air, and then that's how basically the whole film opened up. So basically it was showing that John Carver, right? You don't know who he is. It just shows that he just has all these kids' faces plastered on a bulletin board, and he was going to start murdering them one by one. So what he does is he tags them all on Instagram, right? And he tags them in and has all of their names like at like a Thanksgiving table with like their names on it, right? So who did he kill first? Oh, he went and killed the one girl at the diner. So that was the very first kill that you saw in the trailer, which was really fucking graphic. So what he did is he took her head, put it into the water, stuck it to the industrial freezer. Then he was going to get his axe and he was going to finish the job there. But she ended up ripping her face off, ran into a room, and then her phone, because you know how iPhones, they can be identified by the face, but there was so much blood all over her phone they couldn't identify. So she waited till the John Carver guy left. And then so she went out the gate and she was looking for her purse to get the keys. And then John Carver already took the keys and he was in the car. So what she was doing is she was fat. So she was running towards the dumpster and she was trying to hop the dumpster, but the car ended up like impaling her, so cut her whole body in half. So half of the body was inside the dumpster, and then the rest of the torso was pretty much just dangling there with so much blood and guts and intestines. It was so graphic and it was so good. And you know what the sick motherfucker did? He went all the way up to Right Mart and then put the fucking torso on top of like the letter, and then it was just like out for the world to see that there was like a torso, and then that like caused like so many like speculations, and then they didn't know what to do, right? Because it was like another murder. So that was pretty funny. And then the next murder was the security guy that was a pussy that ran at the scene. Now that was funny. So he had a cat, right? And the cat was pretty much almost the star of the show. I didn't give two shits about the other guy. So he had his passport on the table, but John Carver was in his room and removed the passport. So what happened is that as he was doing, he's like, I'm a security guard, I've killed a lot of people, blah, blah, blah. Scared shitless, right? Because he saw the John Carver's mask. That's when you know you're going to die, if you see the John Carver's mask, right? So he gets these beaters into his balls. And so like he jams them right in there, and you can see like the blood, like, you know, like getting his ball sack and his penis or whatever, like, you know, cut up. And then he ends up taking like, you know, like a wire cable, right? And then like he ends up twisting it behind him and then fucking pulls it, and then his whole head just is severed off. That was really cool, just watching the blood go psh, 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 like a little sprinkler. And then then his torso was on the floor. Now the part of the cat, what I tell you was the show. So the cat, before he was even killed, the cat, he was like, where is he? And then the cat went like this and turned its head, but the cat lied. but actually John Carver was behind him the whole time. It was pretty funny. And then so that as John Carver is about to pack up because he's already killed the guy, took the guy's head and then put it in the duffel bag, the cat ended up like going meow, and then like at like his like dinner table, and he stared at him, and obviously like he's like human, right? He could have just killed the cat, but he didn't. But he ended up feeding the cat, giving it some head scratches, and then left. That was pretty fucking funny. I was like, oh, like he's so nice, he's got a heart. So because the cat's not gonna eat it anymore because it's like that was it. But he gave him like quite a bit of fucking food. But anyways, so he ends up sending them like live screen images of like putting the guy's severed head and then the girl's torso up on the chair like dead. And then so now the kids are freaking out, and so they go to the cops, and the cops are kind of like trying to figure out like what to do and stuff like that. And then they say, fuck the cops, like let's take matters into our own hands, we're all gonna start dying one by one. So then he ends up kidnapping the two people at the beginning, which is good. I can't stand Addison, right? The sooner the better for her. And then they focuses on the main girl, and then like the boyfriend and the other guy, right? So when they're telling you, you start speculating that there could be multiple killers, right? And then it kind of gets down to like the bottom of the twist. So what happens is, what's the next one? Oh, hello, I'm blanking. Hold on, guys. Just give me a second. So the one guy died. Oh yes, the corn and the cob ears. That one is probably one of my favorite fucking kills. It's probably the most graphic I've ever seen. So John Carvers are pretty much already in the house, and this big Russian dude, I'm sorry, that's what I have to say it, but the big Russian dude, right? He says two words, right? And he says he's gonna ship his daughter to Florida because of all the killings, right? And so basically what happens is she's upstairs, you know, she's putting the contacts in and she's cleaning her ears, and then the John Carver ends up tranquilizing the two people, right? He doesn't kill them because they're not part of it. So a corn on the cob rolls to his shoe. He takes the corn holders out, like, you know, corn holders that hold the corn if it's too hot, right? So you can eat it. Well, he takes those out, and as it was pretty gross, like I had to plug my ears because I could just feel it because I knew it was coming. So he's in the room and she's live streaming with her boyfriend, right? And her friends in the car. And then all of a sudden, as she's doing it, they do a close-up of her doing the Q-tip, and you know what's gonna fucking happen. So in just a second after she's done that, he jams the fucking corn holders into her goddamn eardrums, and she pulls them out, and then she goes deaf, right? And so she's all disoriented. But my God, I know like you're so disoriented, but for fuck's sakes, like at least like fight a little bit. So here she is like crawling on the floor like a helpless like worm, and then like fucking he ends up like taking her or something like that. And then the guy, her boyfriend and her friend end up coming to the house, and he has a gun because they stopped at the other guy's place just to get a gun. Sorry, so they can pack some heat so they can shoot the guy, right? But anyway, so he had the gun on safety, so he wasn't, as he was pointing it at her and he had her pretty much at knife point, right? He was going to slit her throat. He ended up turning on the industrial thing because I guess they were doing renovations in the house. So he ended up turning the industrial thing on and then threw her onto the thing. So as literally dumb kids, I know you guys are all in shock, but goddamn, like rip the bitch off the fucking thing already. So she's like basically being mutilated onto like the saw thing, and then like just so much blood's going everywhere, kind of like Dexter with all his blood splatter. There's just so much blood everywhere. So by the time the kid goes over to her and pulls her off, she's already dead, and her whole body is just, all of her intestines are just all over the fucking floor, and the one girl's having a fucking panic attack, like hyperventilating, which I understand, but like Jesus Christ, like holy fuck. And then she's like, what do I do? Like, what the fuck do you do? Like, come on. But I understand it's like a fight or flight moment, and you're just gonna sit there because you don't know what the fuck to do, right? Because it's like happening in front of your eyes. So that was a pretty good kill. Now the parade part, so they're going to use them as bait. So the cool part is that the killer was in the room the whole time. So, but you didn't know who it was. But so they were doing this thing where they put them on the float, and that they were going to use them as bait and then see if they can call them out and grab them and then like kill them or whatever, right? So the poor kid was in a turkey costume. I felt so bad for him. He was just doing the turkey thing. He was like saying, you know, thank you for coming. And then John Carver was he was in a clown costume, and he fucking severed the guy's head clean off into the middle of the parade, and everybody's fucking going crazy. And then like he ends up taking them. into a car, and then he throws a flash, like a stun grenade, and then he ends up, they're like all stunned, and he ends up tracking them all and then kidnapping them and putting them at the table. So as he's doing it, again, it's about broadcasting, right? So so like more like Saw in a way, right? Where like Jigsaw would lead you to a place where it's not happening, but then it's happening over here. So they kind of had like the same storyline where they were getting the SWAT team, and they found out that if there was tunnels to go find the kids, right? Because like he's going to murder again. So the cool part is like they took the girl, like the evil stepmother, whatever you wanted to say, because she was like kind of like a bitch. But anyway, so she was sitting on the table, like a decent sized table, like what we're shooting on now. He had her, and he starts basting her like a fucking turkey. Put some salt and pepper on her, put some fucking herbs and shit on her, and she's awake, right? So she ends up trying to like escape. So as she's trying, John Carver realized that, oh, like, you know, he sets a timer and everything because this sick motherfucker, he's gonna put her in the goddamn big industrial oven he has inside his house. So she ends up trying to like escape and stuff. So that's what I forgot to tell you guys. Did I tell you guys? I don't think I did, about the one kid that was screaming, like calling like horrible names. He ends up wanting to screw his cheerleader girlfriend. So as he's doing so, he tells her to sit down on the stage, okay? So, and then to watch her do a striptease on the trampoline. So John Carver was behind him, twisted his fucking head, boom, like that, and then like with the bulge open. It was fucking disgusting. And she's like, oh, are you ready? And it was like in a dark gymnasium with like the light, like the spotlight. And as she was jumping, right, with her ass coming out, like fucking he puts up the knife into the trampoline, and then it slips her Achilles and tendon. And that was like a classic from the Hostel. If you've seen Hostel, the first one, you know if you know. And then he starts jamming the knife up there, and then she ends up getting it, and then like you think she's dead, right? But she's part of the VIP people that got into those special deals, right? That were taunting all those people that caused that huge accident, right? So anyways, so as she's in the refrigerator, right, the girl like holds her mouth shut so she doesn't get seen, right? So and the girl is still alive, just bleeding fucking everywhere. And so anyway, so he tries to get her, and then he ends up chasing her with like a pitchfork. And then she ends up getting knocked out unconscious, and then he ends up putting her in the oven, and she's being baked alive. It's freaking brutal. But another comedic thing that Eli Roth did was, you know, when you put in a turkey, right, and you put the thermometer in, and it goes like that when it's done, he jammed it into her fucking shoulder or her neck, and then like cooked her alive, and she was burning alive to like pretty much she was almost crispy, and then like the thing went like that, it was done. That was funny. So anyway, so all of these kids are sitting at the table, and then John Carver is coming around and stuff like that, and he's live streaming this shit too, right? Because he's like, you guys, he goes, you made this famous. He goes, you make my work 10 times more easier than it needed to be. He goes, now you've given me a purpose, and blah, blah, blah. And then he goes around the table, he's like, what are you thankful for? Then he goes and start off with the meathead. I'm glad he got it though, because technically that kid's responsible for the deaths a little bit. So he tells the kid to go fuck him. He says, fuck you. And then he takes the meat tenderizer, and then he smashes the guy's fucking head all over the goddamn table. They're all freaking out and screaming, as they should. And it's just like ground beefs everywhere, like eyeballs everywhere. It's fucking so graphic and brutal. They did not move they did not take it away. They showed you the whole fucking 9 yards. Like he at least whacked that guy's head at least 9 times, like to make it go like fucking splat. So he did that, and then as they're freaking out, she's trying to free herself. She's got like a little self-defense thing, so she's trying to free herself. She passes it to the other guy so they can kind of like ambush him in a way. But as before they break free, they said, let's oh, I forgot to tell you, the cheerleader, when she's at the table, he ends up sticking a corkscrew into her fucking neck. That was disgusting. He goes, oh, look, this is my version of wine. So he starts draining out of her artery, like the blood. And he goes, this is going to go nicely with dinner. So he puts the blood there, like in a cup. Sick motherfucker. And he goes, here comes the main course. So as he takes the blanket off, you see it's the evil stepmother, but where's her head? He severed the fucking head right off. But you didn't get to see that part. It would have been cool if you saw it, but you didn't. And then she's like literally got her head, like, you know when you get turkey legs and you got them like this, and they're like all like, you know, with the yarn and shit? He's so gross. Like he actually did it like that. And then like he starts carving off, like Rick Hoffman, right? Forget his name. He starts like vomiting profusely, right? I would too, right? And then like, cause you know, you're gonna die. And so he starts carving his wife's fucking like inner of her thigh, and he goes, "We're gonna eat your wife now." And he's like, "Are you ready?" And then that's when the kids break free and they bum rush him, right? And then they get away, right? So the one kid ends up getting cut with the axe, and then all the kids are downstairs still screaming. Well, the one is, and then so he's going after the other girl, so she hops the fence, but the problem is that like so she gets away, but he starts looking at her. But in the part where you see like when the cop was on the floor, which I will say Patrick Dempsey, he has like his whole face like bashed in, so you think like, oh, okay, and then you see the killer go into the factory, right? So basically he says, "Oh, it's Bobby, it's my ex," and then he goes, "No problem, I'll create a diversion," and he starts shooting his pistol off, making it think that he killed him, right? So anyway, so as he's in the police station, they're saying, "Oh, we have you guys, you know, we're gonna take you down to the police station for more questioning and like take you to the hospital to get you all checked out." And she goes, "Well, can I just have a second, please, just to like catch my breath?" So as she's picking the burrs off, so you know when you run through a forest, there's like those burrs that stick to you, she's picking them off, right? As the police officer guy comes in, so I'm gonna say Patrick Dempsey, as Patrick Dempsey comes in, she notices that there's burrs on the bottom of his thing, and she realizes that he's the killer. And she's trapped basically, and so she was live streaming it because I guess Bobby's phone was in evidence, right? But she thinks Bobby's dead. So he goes, "I was almost very close to doing it. If you stayed on the fence a little bit more, he said you would have been dead or whatever." So he closes the door, right? And he's just trying to finish his job. And then he tells her why, his motive to why he did this, which is, again, any motive anybody would sanely, like, would do that too. So basically the opening of the Thanksgiving scene with the Black Friday thing at the Right Mart caused the girl to die. So I guess she was having an affair with him and she was pregnant with his child. Spoiler alert. So basically, like, she died, right, because of the chaos. So and an innocent child died, and that was his like future girlfriend, and they were gonna end up together. So like that was straight motive just to kill him, and plus other innocent people died too, right? So then that's why so as he's confessing, he's not realizing that she has him on camera and is live streaming again with millennials. I don't get it with your fucking phones. Like, I hate you guys. I hate you all. But anything has to do with the live stream and the thumbs down and like a whole comment section. So he's now being outed to the whole world that he's a serial killer and he's admitted to murder basically. And then so as she gets out, Bobby breaks her out, and then they go into the facility, right? Because they're trying to leave with the truck, and he's got an axe and everything, right? And he's like, you know, spewing whatever like a serial killer does, like, you know. And then so like she ends up opening up the propane tanks for like the big inflatable thing. So as they're running to the car, he's chasing them with an axe, and then she ends up using her mom's bracelet as good luck, and then shoots, because she knows how to do with like cannons with like the dust or whatever you want to say. And then so she shoots the cannon, and then the cannon blows up the turkey and him. So at the end, you see them all being like with the paramedics and stuff. And then it said that one guy, if you pay attention, it says the place was incinerated, that there's no reminiscences of anything or anybody. So that just speculates, like, could he be dead or could he not be dead? So at the end, if you think about it, there was a firefighter coming up with an axe, and it looked dead ass at her, and she looked dead ass at him, but she didn't register anything. Nothing was coming. And then he just walked away. So that could have been him who just got up full blown, like blew up, took the firefighter outfit, and then just pretty much fucked off. But they left it open to the point where I don't think there's going to be a second one. I think they just left it how it is. But yeah, so overall, like I said, it was like an 8.5 out of 10. I will say that the kills were pretty much a solid 10 out of 10. It was very graphic. I will say that I didn't like how the kills were rushed. So it felt like it was like kill and then scene. Like it needed to be more graphic, and it needed to be like so you could see it more. It felt like it was rushed like that, and I felt like for the casting choice, it was stupid with having like a bunch of like pretty much no-namer actors. Like, I didn't particularly like them, like a bunch of like millennials. I didn't like it. But yeah, the storyline again was like it was weak at the beginning, but then it kind of like had its purpose in the beginning, sorry, like throughout the kills, and then the end with the twist. That was really nice. I would say this was probably one of Eli Roth's weaker films, in my opinion. I will say, like, it doesn't top Hostel, and it doesn't top The Green Inferno and Cabin Fever. I would say those are good classics that are up there, but it was probably one of his weaker films. I probably might get flack for saying that, but that's just my honest opinion. It is a limited run in theaters, so it got released yesterday, so I highly recommend you, if you want to go see it, go see it. You won't be disappointed if you like blood and guts. Now, this is part 2 into the thing. So I go to the theaters quite a bit, so it was nice that they had some free posters. Whoops. So this is the Hunger Games movie. I guess you could say it's like a prequel. I wouldn't say it's a sequel, but there's like, if you've seen the original Hunger Games, and you know, with like the famous cast, right? So like this has something to do with like part of the books. Don't quote me on this. I haven't seen it. I know Brandon has seen the first 2 of the original ones, but he hasn't seen the last parts, Mockingjay and Mockingjay Part 2. So it would be nice to see that, so we can go see that in theaters before it goes straight to DVD soon. So that was free. And then they had like this holiday bundle where I always get myself a large popcorn and a large pop. And you know how much I love those Kernel dudes, and because I did those blind bags that one year. So they were doing like, it's called Kernel. He's like, they have like, it's a really decent sized ornament, and it's very good quality. It's like, it's kind of like a resin in a way. So it's a pretty decent size thing. So this was free with it, and you got like a really cool collectible cup. The collectible cup was like actually plastic. It was like one of those ones that you would just throw out. And of course I have a problem with buying plushies. I literally have a problem. I find things that are cute and I end up like hoarding them in a way. So I ended up picking up this little guy. So his name is they're called Big Screen Buddies. This is Benji the cat. So it's just basically like a little stuffed animal. I thought it was really cool with like the 3D glasses, because I really do like 3D films. And like, I think it was really cute holding the little popcorn. They did have like different ones. They had like a bulldog, and they had like a little between it was so cute. It was between that one and that one, and then it had the same thing holding like the popcorn. So I ended up going with Benji the cat. So again, unnecessary money, just throwing it down the drain, but you know, that's me. So yeah, so leave a like, leave a comment, and tell me what you guys think. Ciao for now.